Lake Dallas Cheer would like to welcome you to
Falcon Football Weekly!
Center snapping, here we go, shine drill. Ready, set, go!
Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, John Piper, for another edition of Falcon Football Weekly, brought to you by the Lake Dallas Quarterback Club. You can find us on iTunes, on your Apple iOS device, your iPhone, Apple iPad, on Spreaker Radio. Just go to Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, and search Falcon Football Weekly to find us, and also on SoundCloud. Make sure you share the podcast out to the Lake Dallas community and the fan base all across the country. And now our guest, Coach Michael Young. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Excellent. We're here right before the season kicks off. I know you guys have been having some hard-nosed practices, and I do want to share this show is brought to us by the Lake Dallas Quarterback Club. You guys do a great job, Coach, your booster club, and everything you do with media and bringing the Falcon football message to the community, so I applaud that.
Well, thanks a lot. Our quarterback club is a great group of people and an organization that do an awful lot for the kids and helping our program get to where it's is right now. Is a big part of that is our quarterback club and the work that they've done over the years and are doing now.
And you guys have been pushing the envelope on technology. I know for many years now, you broadcast your games live on internet radio. Personally known Dan Smith for many years. I know he's retired from the booth, but I used to tune in myself and still do. That's neat. And you might be one of the first high schools in the area to have your very own podcast.
Well, thanks. We, our radio, thing was, when we started that was, there was other people that obviously had radio, but I think that we've really done a good job of that for the size of our school, and we've become pretty popular. We've had the call of the week several times on the ticket, and I think actually won the call of the year last year. So our radio guys are pretty famous that have come and gone and helped us out with that. But that's been a really neat thing, too, for our community, especially the family and friends that are out of town that can keep up and listen to the games live on the internet. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Well, Coach, you move into a new district, every 2 years here in Texas, redistricting, and I know as a coach, you always wonder, hey, where are you going to end up? Are you pretty happy you ended up in District 7-5A Division 2? Can you comment a little bit about the new district and how you feel about that? Well,
being a single school, kind of where we are, we seem to get kind of tossed around different directions from Region 1 to Region 2, different districts. One thing that's kind of fun for us, we get to play at a lot of different places, get to be around some other schools, but I think with this new Division 2 5A, this is going to I hope settle us into an area here where we kind of get some consistent teams in our district. I think that's one thing that we've missed is having rivalries. We tried to play Little Elm in non-district again to keep that rivalry together. We lost that game when they put us in a 9-team district. So I'm hoping with some of these teams that we're in with this year are going to be some teams that we get to play, year in and year out in district play. And that will be fun, I think, for all of our fans.
Yeah, it is unique. A lot of folks are familiar with the show Friday Night Lights. You are a Friday Night Lights town. The entire school district feeds into your high school. I've been to your stadium. It's an awesome stadium right there in Lake Dallas, Texas, and everybody comes out and supports you. So I know going on the road over a lot of the schools are in Frisco, not a far commute over there, and a lot of great venues to play on the road as well.
Oh yeah, it's going to be exciting. That I grew up in Gainesville. I was always Denison was one of our big rivals. That's a really big football town too. That's very similar to our size. That'll be a great environment to get to go there. We're going to get to see all 3 Frisco venues this year, so that's really good for our kids. And Lovejoy, we played them several times in the past in non-district, and I think they're a really good national rival for us. I know that we had a pretty good couple games with them a few years ago. So we're excited about the teams we're going to get to play in locations and our travel. Denison and Princeton are a ways, but you're talking about an hour and 15-minute drive. We've been in districts of Wichita Falls many times and had to make that 2-hour and 15-minute drive, so it's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's a tough deal, and I know you play a area team, Denton High, as your opener on the road at Denton Broncos Stadium, and then pretty neat deal. You're over at the Star in Frisco for your second game Friday, September 7th. That'll be a big time game inside. We'll call it Jerry World 2 over there at that beautiful venue. Kids get excited about going over there and playing inside the dome there.
Oh yeah, that's a great atmosphere. It's it's really loud when you get the bands and the student sections in there, and it's a great opportunity to play a second game of the year. It's still really hot here. Week 1, 2, and 3, and those games can take a lot out of you. So I think it's a kind of an advantage for us to get to play that week 2 indoors in the air conditioning. It's a lot easier on your kids and recovery time for the next week.
And then I know you've got this game circled, Coach, your first district game, Friday, September 14th, at home, Falcon Stadium, 7 o'clock against Frisco Reedy. That's when it really starts to count. Not that those first two games don't, obviously, but district play, it just notches up to a whole nother level.
Right. It's that's a big one. Most every publication you see has Reedy picked first in our district, and so that makes it a big enough game, but it's also at home, and that's one thing about district. As deep as ours with good teams, you got to win your home games. Those are the ones you got to take care of, so that's a really important game for us.
We were talking off air before the show. You've got a great new addition to your coaching staff, offensive line coach Spencer Leftwich. He brings 29 years of coaching experience to your Falcon offensive line. Can you share with the audience what that addition means to your program?
Well, I've known Spencer a long time. He went to high school in Gainesville. He was several years older than me, but he's been in college for 29 years now. He's done a couple stints at UNT, Tulsa, Pittsburgh, Arizona. So he brings a lot of experience, and when you could add guys like that to your staff, and I think we've got a really good staff to begin with, guys that have had a lot of college experience already. It just adds a lot. I think it's great for the kids to have somebody with that much knowledge, and a lot of these kids are interested in college football, and they get to kind of see what it's like to be coached by a college coach. There's high expectations from him. We want to win, so I think it's a great plus for me, myself, having him here, but also for the kids, and it's going to help us, I hope, later. That's kind of the group that we need to come through for us this year. I think we got a lot of experience and weapons everywhere, and if that group plays good, our offensive line, we got a chance to be pretty good.
And last year, congratulations, you reached a milestone. You crossed your 100th win at Lake Dallas High School, and you're entering your 14th year as head coach. Well, you solidified yourself there in the community, and a lot of exciting things have happened over those 14 years. A lot of great players you've seen come and develop and go on to do great things, but a lot of good things going on with Lake Dallas football.
Yeah, I think that 100th win was more for really our whole program and our coaching staff. A lot of these guys have been here with me this entire time. And, when we started at Lake Dallas's overall record as a program, the first year we started, has a losing record, had never won a playoff game. And so we've really, as a staff and quarterback club and community, have all come together and really turned this around into a football school, and a lot of people know about us now in the DFW and really all over the state. So that was kind of a big deal, not just for me, but for our staff and everybody that's been involved in this. And the 13 years we've been here, we've been 103-48. So that's a good record. We've won, a bunch of playoff games in this time, and we went to the state finals, semifinals, went to triple overtime just a few years ago. Almost had a chance to go to state championship games. So there's been a lot of exciting times here, and we have a good team this year, and hopefully we'll have some of those, another good season to remember. I think one thing about our program, too, we've had a lot of really exciting games over the years. We've seen, not that I want that. That's good for the fans, but it's hard on the coaches. But we've had some really close, big, exciting games that we've been here, probably as much or more than anybody else around.
That's a great segue, Coach. You returned 32 lettermen. You and the coaching staff feel like this team is going to be stronger than last season. Some things to build on. Starting with your quarterback, Ryan Depperschmidt. Two-sport star. He did a lot of great things on the baseball field as well. But I got to see him play some last year, and just a hard-nosed, gritty player that you want, at the 5A level. He's not afraid to lower his head and run through a linebacker. I know you probably cringe as the coach when you see that happen, but that's just the type of player he is. What does it mean to have Depperschmidt returning to lead your team?
Well, in this day and age of football, it's becoming more and more just quarterback is just important. If you don't have a person there, you're going to have a hard time winning very many games. And not only is he talented and smart, but like you said, the grittiness and toughness, that's what you want from your quarterback. When your quarterback is tough, it kind of runs into your whole team to be physical and tough. And so he's just a great kid. He's been great for our program. And I expect a great year from him, and I know that he's going to help us win a lot of games, and he's fun to watch, and he's also, as good as he is on the field, he's as good or better off the field. Just a great student, enjoys being around kids, and just a great example of what a student athlete in Texas high school football should be.
And I know we have some young listeners now. That's a great thing about this type of medium, Coach, is hopefully some of the moms and dads and the other people in the community, we got some 5th and 6th and 7th graders that are want to play Falcon football down the road, and they're tuning into this right now. And that's so important to be a student first and an athlete second, working hard both on the field as well as off the field.
Yeah, everybody wants to play college football, and people dream of pro football, but the reality is both of those are very hard to achieve. What you want to do, and what you hope high school football does, is become a great experience for the kid and help them learn to be better adults and better men, and hopefully they learn how to fit that together with their education and learn to be organized and do the right things. And that's what really this is all about, and is developing those kids to do those things.
And he's coming off a great season. Last year won District Offensive MVP award. He stands there, like I said, he can run, no doubt, but as a pocket passer, nice prototype size, 6'3", 190. He's got the size to sit back there and just air it out as well.
Yeah, we've been blessed by having good quarterbacks here. Then we've always had an offense that throws the ball, almost half the time. So he really fits what we like to do, and also what we like to do is have our quarterback be an athlete, can make plays with his legs, and he can do that too. He's the perfect fit for what we like to do in our offense.
And this down the offensive side of the ball, Coach, running back, wide receiver that you're high on, Kylie Smith, junior, 5'10", 185. Again, won District Offensive Utility Player of the Year last year, and great to have him back.
Yeah, he's a guy that it's really important for us to find ways. He needs to touch the ball about 20 times a game. We may not quite get that much, but that's kind of the goal. The more he gets it, the better we're going to be. He's great. He's great without the ball too. That's what I think helps him too. He's not a big guy, but he's a good blocker. He's physical, and he's kind of the thing that makes us go. And that's kind of our job on Saturdays. Is the big one every week, is finding a ways the next week to get him involved as much as we can to get him the ball.
And big wide receiver returning for you. Great athlete. I know he had a good summer workouts. Brandon Engel, 6'2", 185 with some speed. Last year, first team all-district wide receiver. A sure-handed receiver for you. I'm sure that's going to be one of the big targets for Depperschmidt this upcoming season.
Yeah, as a sophomore, he led our district in receiving yards. So, yeah, he's a great player. He's a great, kind of a counter for Kylie. He's a solid guy outside that makes it really hard for defenses because we're able to move Kylie around inside. We have a guy outside that can make the big play, and he's got great hands, runs great routes, and he just really has a real connection timing-wise with Ryan. If you ever see our games, you can kind of see it. They really do well together on the timing routes and the throwing. It makes it really difficult for people to cover him.
And your running back, I know you're going to expect a lot out of him as well, IK. You told me not to even try to pronounce his last name. I will get it at some point, but we'll this first episode of Falcon Football Weekly, we're going to call him IK, running back, 6 foot 180 with some speed. He's going to help balance your attack back there, both running and catching the ball.
Yeah, he's new to the whole game of football just in the last couple of years, but he's a strong, physical kid. He does a good job of blocking. He really fits what we're doing kind of in our option game out of our B-back. Him and Colton Lindsay both are two junior running backs that we're really high on. I think both of them are going to have a really good year. IK has some special speed to make some big plays, but I think that's one thing that we have to do better. last year to kind of take the next step.